Well, as some of you can see, but maybe not all of you, this is clearly not the inside of the Dakota. This is clearly the inside of my work truck, which seems an odd place for an update on the Dakota. Well, I would have it in frame if I still had it. Some stuff happened that was beyond my control, and I'm going to try to condense it all down into just a couple of minutes so I don't waste too much of people's time, because I had enough of mine wasted already. So, in short, I lost the Dakota. Through no fault of my own, because of things that were done probably out of maliciousness, but mostly because people didn't communicate. So, I'm going to try not to let too much venom and vitriol leak into this. I don't want that to be considered as the content or candor of my character, although I know that, like anybody else, I can be frustrated, I can be angry, and I can just be terrible to deal with. And I don't want that to come off like this. But it's hard not to be that way. The short answer to what happened is that I got screwed. For those of you that don't know the whole story, I did a video on it a little while back. I'm not going to take that video down because there's a lot of good things in that video, and that video was kind of cathartic in a way. But now that catharsis has kind of been lost. So I rescued my grandfather's 2002 Dakota after a neighbor of his, after his, I wouldn't even say untimely. I mean, he was, it wasn't really on borrowed time, but wasn't exactly taking care of himself. I love my grandpa. He was a great man. He did a lot of great things, taught me a lot of things, did a lot of good things for a lot of people who really didn't deserve it, but we're going to get to that. And he passed away last year. Sometime after his passing, a neighbor broke into his house, changed the locks, and stole his pickup truck. Her way of spinning it was that the door was already kicked in. I doubt it. I doubt it because I was out there pretty regularly to check on it. Now, granted, given my job, I can't be everywhere at once, and oftentimes I'm multiple states away working on something else. And I'm busied with whatever that is. It's just the way it goes. Well, I happened by one day and noticed that, there was a cleared spot in the yard and there was stuff moved out, which was odd, because I didn't believe that my aunt had been back. And then subsequently I find out that, this woman had broken into the house and then stolen some things, including the truck, which I found out later when I came back to check on the house, found the locks were changed, and that's kind of where all this got started. So I took the truck back to my residence, per the request of the next of kin. We're going to get into why I'm specifying that in a second. Per the request of the next of kin, I took the truck back to my residence. It was parked in a secured location and was not accessible easily from the road, specifically because I believed that you might come back and steal it. I shot my video on it. Everything was going great. I had another project that came in I started working on, but the plan was always to turn my attention to the Dakota and try to make the Dakota look nicer than what it was, because it was pretty beat up, but it was my grandpa's truck. I wanted to put enough time and effort into it for it to make a good shop truck for the channel that everybody could drive and that nobody would have any issues with taking anywhere. Well, unfortunately, while I was in Detroit working, I get a call from my brother that the truck is gone. I make a call to my aunt after finding that Newark Police Department had been at my house with the same individual, had been at the house. And, no, we'll get into that in a second, because it gets really bad. Sorry, this is going to be kind of a rambling mess. I apologize. This has been very frustrating. So, while they were there, I noticed that, like, she walks back and forth in front of the camera multiple times. She's talking to the officers. They all leave. And then a few minutes later, the truck's gone. Well, after calling the police department, they're like, hey, she said that it was a vehicle that was hers. It was taken without her permission. She had no ownership paperwork. We didn't let her take it. We don't know where it went. Obviously, I'm not going to get an answer from her, so I called my aunt and asked, hey, what the fuck happened? Truck's gone. And she tells me, oh, yeah, so I surrendered the estate to the same person who broke into the house and stole the truck to begin with. I'll give you a second to marinate on that. Yeah. Already furious, right? But it's obvious this woman came onto my property illegally and took a truck which she still didn't have paperwork for. By her own admission, she had zero paperwork for it. Wasn't even sure if she could get paperwork, but I could because it was already in process. Didn't matter, apparently, so she took the truck. My aunt then tells me that, oh, well, I knew the court date was coming up, but I chose not to go. My kid's joining the Navy or whatever her nonsense excuse was. She always has an excuse for everything, but never, ever, ever the resolve to get anything done. Now, mind you, because I'm sure that one of her 6 jackanapes will watch this, and as much as I love my cousins, I fear that they may be led astray, so let me make something perfectly clear. I offered to pay for everything to be settled with the estate. I offered to take over the estate so that none of this could happen. And I was told she had it handled. This is what happens when weak-willed people are put in charge of anything. The weak-willed will absolutely ruin opportunity. They will piss it away so fast. They will be so focused on finishing second that they don't realize that they're winning. It's ridiculous. And she's a weak-willed, pathetic excuse of a human being, in my opinion, for allowing this to go. For all that my grandfather did for her, allowing her and her kids to move in, along with my uncle, I got nothing bad to say about that guy. Although he's kind of a chicken shit, but whatever. For all that he did for them, and she surrenders the estate to somebody who my grandfather genuinely disliked. Did not like this woman at all. It's such a slap in the fucking face. And I found out later that my mother knew it was a possibility, but didn't know for sure if she was going to do it. I'm very disappointed that my mother did not tell me that when she had me face to face when I was down there to visit them in Alabama. I'm disappointed, but she had washed her hands of this when she moved. She didn't want to be a part of it. She didn't want to be involved in it. I understand and respect that, but I wish she would have said something. That's neither here nor there. So, Newark Police Department is supposed to be looking into this. I don't know that they will. But you might be wondering, well, she broke into the house. There's clearly a crime there, right? Well, yeah, there is. But my aunt dropped the ball on pressing charges and elected not to. And with the way that this is going, I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to press charges because they have to find definitive proof that she was there illegally. Because the truck not fucking being there isn't proof, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember anything about this nonsense being in the academy books. I don't remember anything in there saying, well, we'll do our job, except for when it's going to be inconvenient for us. But Officer Angelo with the Newark Police Department did exactly that. Nothing I'd like better than to see you not have your job anymore, pal. With that in mind, you might be wondering where we're going to go now and why our videos have been sporadic. It's probably been a couple of weeks since an upload now. between work and this, I haven't had time to do anything. We finished up a video on a new project. It'll probably come out in a week or so when there's actually time for it to be edited. But there's a good chance that we might have to pause production or at least posting for a while we gather ourselves back up, because that truck was going to be at least 3 videos worth of content by the time it was done. And then other stuff was supposed to come and go, but we had stuff lined up all the way through February of next year that was going to keep us active, and it's gone now. And that's not just the truck, that's other things that I'm not going to get into that were therein entailed within the estate. Gone. So our production may be a little slower. We might not be able to push out videos every week for a while. We might just go to a once every 2 week format for the foreseeable while we sort all this out. But I figured at the very least, I know this channel is very small. There's only 200 and change here. And I felt that it was worth mentioning to everybody here, so down the line, I don't have people asking what happened to the Dakota. I figured it was worth mentioning now and just being honest. I'm not going to be like, like your parent when your cat got absolutely demolished by the mail van and say, oh, it went to live on a farm. No, odds are that truck's been shredded. It's what she said she'd do if she got her hands on it again. Specifically to spite me that she would shred the truck. So there's a good chance that it's no longer even in existence. But nothing I can do about it. Not right now, anyway. I am terribly sorry that things had to go the way that they went. But ultimately, I'm apologizing for somebody else's actions, and I really shouldn't be doing that. So, I'll leave you guys with this. Make sure you have a will. Make sure you have somebody who's strong enough willed that they will keep your estate in a good standing and prevent other people from robbing it from your family. And last of all, just try to not be a shitty person. This woman has apparently done this multiple times to other families and tried to bully them out of their estates, and this time it just happened to work. But it's okay. Karma's a bitch. And I know I can't tell you guys what I do for a living. Some of you already know. But I love my job. I love what I do. And I love my job enough to do it for free. And I do not like what I'm seeing with a total lack of response on a lot of things. Part of my job is to get people approved or denied for workers' compensation and benefits. You move around awful well for someone who's supposed to be wheelchair bound and can't walk. It hasn't gone unnoticed. Karma's gonna hit you like a fucking freight train. Anyway, I hope you all have the day you deserve. I'm gonna get back to work. And, hopefully, it won't be too long before you see another video from me. Till then, I'll see ya.